Hey guys, it's Tim Miller from the Bulwark. Okay, there's been so much discussion about the manosphere and the bro podcasts and what Democrats can do to talk to these young men that are being radicalized and turned against the left, and how can they speak to them and win some of them back? Kamala should have done Joe Rogan, et cetera, et cetera. Well, going around Twitter, I saw a clip today from Theo Von's podcast. Theo Von, JD Vance, and Donald Trump went on his podcast. He's a fellow Louisianan. He had Stavros from Cumtown on the podcast. Yeah, sorry about that, Mom. That's what his podcast is called. He's also on a Netflix series called Tires. He's on tour next year, so you might have seen his little acts on social media. And Stav is also in this same kind of universe. And they started talking about politics. And Stavros did exactly what everybody's been begging Democratic politicians to do. And we might have something here, y'all. He might be onto something. Our model. This could be our man. Stavros from Cumtown could be our model. Let's all watch it together. Here's Stavros and Theo Von.
I'm most excited about RFK, and JD Vance was super cool when he came on the podcast. He's a human. Trump's hard to get to know.
I don't know that JD. To me, he seems like a traditional, just say whatever it takes to get elected snake, to be honest with you. I know, you had him on, he was cool here, but he was a guy who said he hated Trump. He said some fucked up shit about women. Like, I just think he's and venture capitalist guys are fucking worms to begin with. I don't trust JD Vance at all. I think he's a piece of shit also. So yeah. I mean, I think he's a cut in the regular ass Republican that'll say any fucking fucked up thing to get into power. He sucked Trump's cock after saying he called him Hitler or whatever. And he made a complete turn when he realized it was politically advantageous to be on Trump's side. I think he also is just a run of the mill piece of shit politician.
Y'all. Okay, sorry about the language, but that's right. I mean, that is the way to take on JD Vance. It wasn't hair on fire stuff. It wasn't school marm. He wasn't wagging his finger. It was just like, he's a POS, and he's a liar, and he's phony, and he's got Theo laughing about it. And Theo's all like, "Yeah, Joe's on with JD. He was cool. Like, we talked about coke."
You can't even do cocaine in this country anymore, And that seemed like a crazy thing to say. And
Stav's just like, nah, phony, actually. That's the way to reposition this, right? Because at the biggest picture, not to become like a sociology academic here, but at the biggest picture, like, there are some ideological alliances between Trump and young men, things that they're aligned on, right? There are some just kind of cultural trends that have them aligned. A lot of young men feeling like they're being left behind. Women are doing better in college. White men are being, elevated less in cultural spaces, right? As Hollywood and other places try to focus on diversity and getting more black and brown faces in the right. Like, and there's a backlash to that. There's a backlash to Me Too, right? So there are cultural forces at play and ideological forces that make it deeper than what I'm about to say, right? Like, there are other elements here. But a good first start is that Trump benefited from being like, we're the kids in the back of the class throwing fucking spitballs. We're just like, screw these guys, screw the establishment, screw the people in charge. Just kind of base level contrarian counterculture thing, right? And forever, the left was the counterculture. Go obviously back to the 60s. Like, even all the way through, they start to get corny a little bit in the Obama times, right? But all the way through Obama and 2008, it's left as a counterculture. The establishment, the stuff suits the Republicans, and that inverted, right? Where, like, the institutions, the establishment, the people who are in charge, people that were making the rules, particularly around COVID, people that were making the rules, that was the Democrats. And so Trump benefited, and the Republicans broadly, even the nerdy ones like JD Vance, benefited from, like, wait a minute, no, we're the counterculture, right? Like, we're saying no to the man. When I did a lot of interviews at Turning Point USA last year, I was shocked how many people said that to me. Like, we're the F the man party now. And I'm like, that used to be the liberals. Republicans are screw the man. And so there has to be like a repositioning there, right? Like the Democrats need to be able to take back the counterculture and at least some slice of it. And that model right there by Stavros, that's it. That's it. Like, it's like, no, man, these guys aren't counterculture. These guys aren't contrarian. They're not cool. Like, he's just a typical politician. He's just a typical slimy hedge fund guy turned politician saying what he needs to say. Now he's sucking up to Trump. Before he hated Trump. He'll do whatever next. There's power in that. You could see it in his body language. Like, there's power. Like, Theo was kind of on the defensive a little bit. Kind of like, wait a minute, do I have to defend this like hedge fund douche bro? Like, that's not my vibe on this bro podcast. So that's good. So Stavros is showing us something there. He also gets into policy though, and he also shows the Democrats a little something about how to talk about policy. Let's watch him and Theo. Let's watch his response to Theo when Theo asks him what people are scared about. Why are people scared of Trump?
What are people truly scared of, do you think, when they talk about Trump? But what is it? I kind of start to wonder, what do people be scared of?
I can tell you right. I mean, so for me, I didn't love either candidate here. I really didn't understand being enthusiastic about either candidate. I think, I'm not a Trump guy, obviously. I think he is dangerous in the things that I'm scared of the most. And the thing that made me lean towards Kamala was, more than anything, was the Supreme Court, and that it would be, if it's put under like far right control for the next however long. We've already seen, women's right to, over their bodies, the abortion, Roe v. Wade's been overturned, which I think is really dangerous. That's going to like really affect women's health care. Already in states that banned it, you see they're getting less just general OBGYN care because it's more dangerous to be a doctor in those states.
We're going to come back and do more, but I just want to stop at that point for a second, because this is worth diagramming, right? Theo's question was, what scares you about Trump? And a lot of Dems, and me even, a lot of never Trumpers, like, our first instinct there is, he's a threat to democracy. It's a threat to democracy. He's dangerous. That's true. But like, does that land with people? Does that land with people who are 19, who were 11 when Trump came around the first time, who don't know any different? Does it land with people who don't actually care about democracy, liberal democracy in the grand sense? I don't think so. Instinctively, that's not where Stavros went. He goes to the Supreme Court. So he talks about abortion specifically, and we're going to get into that a little bit more. But the other thing that I liked is he's like, we're going to put it in the hands of these far-right judges, these far-right extremists. And you hear Theo go, yeah. Like that, again, Trump has like transcended the things that regular dudes don't like about the far right, right? These guys are not Christian conservatives. This is not a Christian, if you can tell by the language, this is not a Christian conservative. This is not a Charlie Kirk. This is not a Ben Shapiro thing. It's just dudes hanging. And dudes hanging are not interested in Christian nationalism, all right? They're not interested in a theocracy. And if you can separate Trump out of it a little bit and be like, no, actually, look at the threat here is these far-right judges, these like, Christian freaky judges that are put all these rules in place, limit access to abortion, et cetera, et cetera. It's more of a winning issue. Let's keep going though here, because what happens next is the dagger.
So we don't think about shit that trickles down. So like, it's harder to get just general healthcare, let alone abortion, in Texas now for women, and that's only going to get harder in rural states. And I think, for me, that was the number one issue. Yeah. That's really fucking scary to me.
Well, especially with the border being open and they're letting rapists in. It's fucking, you know what I'm saying, though? It's like you're just... Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's the best time to repeal that.
Yeah. If we're going to follow your logic and you claim they got rapists coming in, maybe we should also keep abortion, but... I think we got plenty of homegrown rapists too, but look, yeah.
We've got our own.
Sure.
Some union guys.
We've got some heirloom American rapists for sure.
Heirloom rapists, American heirloom rapists. That is so good, right? Because look at how he flipped that on Theo, right? Theo is in Trump talking point mode, because in his head, he's like, all right, Stavros says that women that get raped are going to be in threat. And my response to that is, well, is like Trump talking points, right? They're bringing the rapists. Rapists are coming across the border. The migrant rapists are coming. And so it's like, so Theo makes this little joke about that, right? About how, okay, well, yeah, we definitely wouldn't want to take away right to abortion in an instance of rape, given all the rapists that are coming across the border. And Stav laughs at the joke. It wasn't that funny for me, but he laughed at it, and then he's like, yeah, but like, I think we got some rapists here too, right? And again, like back on his heels, like it's the seriousness. It's I can bro out, we can laugh, we can make jokes about this, we can do Trumpy shit, whatever. But also we can be like let's just be real about this. All right. There's one more little bit where he talks about the economy, and it's a similar type thing. Let's listen to that.
Companies realize they can just charge you more and say it's somebody else's fault. A lot of it's price gouging. That's fucking true. And
everything gets so much more expensive.
And companies are, some of it is just real inflation, but some of it is companies are hiding behind inflation. And like Democrats did nothing to stop price gouging, right? They didn't even say they were going to do it. You can't tell people that things are going good when they're just clearly not. We should be able to you should be able to fucking buy a house. All these fucking regular issues that weren't really hit on. It was just, well, you got to vote for us because the other person's worse. And even though I think that is true, that's not a winning message. That's nothing, especially when the other side is offering, they're at least saying shit's bad.
Well, yeah.
And they're saying it's for the wrong reasons. I don't think it's immigrants' fault. It's definitely not fucking, trans people aren't the people buying up houses and not letting you buy it. You know what I mean? Like, but at least they're saying something's wrong.
So yeah, look, Stav then gets into some populist economic stuff. And that's not exactly my cup of tea, but the way that he's talking about it, right, where it's like, yeah, the Democrats failed in this. They could have done better. They could have gone after price gouging. Like the Republicans, they didn't have anything. They're full of it, right? Like all they said is that things were bad, right? Like again, it's positioning these guys as being extreme and full of it. It has the benefit of being true. And it gets away from the type of thing that these guys are used to hearing about Democrats, right? Like in their world, if you're consuming just manosphere stuff, right? Like the only time Democrats are intersecting with you is when somebody's dunking on them for canceling somebody, for being woke or whatever, for finger wagging. And you need to intersect with them in areas of alignment, right? And Stav is doing that. Like these are areas of alignment. Like things are expensive. That sucks. Let's go after the people that are causing that, right? The women don't have access to reproductive care. That sucks. Whose fault is that? This extreme Supreme Court of extreme far right Christians, they want to go after your rights, right? Like that's his fault. These blow dried phonies who say they're all for Trump now are actually just for their own pocketbook and are just out for themselves. And they're the same blow-dried phonies that have been in politics forever, and they suck. That there's something there, right? Like that is a framework that some percentage of the people who engage with Theo are at least going to get, right? And that's at least going to resonate with them. And I don't know. I think that I don't think Stav intended this. I don't think that's what he wants to do with his life. But I think that like the video of him on this podcast should be played at like DNC candidate school. Like show these guys how to do it. I mean, they might not be able to talk about sucking Trump's cock, but they can get the gist. They can get the gist, and maybe that's a step in the right direction for trying to reach people that are in this bubble that has gotten very Trumpy. So that's that. Subscribe to the feed. I bet you wouldn't have seen that if it wasn't for me. So we're giving you the good stuff here. And I'm monitoring these guys so you don't have to. We'll be back tomorrow with another edition of the Bulwark podcast. So keep it here. Tell your friends. We'll see you soon. Hey, if you like this video and our content, I'd love for you to become a Bulwark Plus subscriber. You get access to bonus podcasts, secret podcasts, and newsletters we put out every day, plus some behind-the-scenes takes that I don't always post on this feed. In addition, you can become part of the Bulwark community. Come over to our Substack and comment and meet other like-minded people. We'd love to have you. Starting today, you can get a free trial at thebulwark.com/free trial. The link is right here on the screen and below in the description. We'd love to have you as part of our community. Come on and give it a free try today.